Hi everybody, my name is Jada Janiak, and today I'm going to be talking about the Menominee tribe of Wisconsin. In my presentation today, I will be talking about some key values of the Menominee tribe, its experiences with the U.S., some of the do's and taboos with Menominee tribe, and some of the communication connections I have seen with the Menominee tribe and what we've been learning throughout the semester. To start, some of the key values of the Menominee tribe are culture and tradition. Mainly with the culture, the Menominee tribe has 5 clans, which are depicted in the bottom right picture. Each clan has its own animal, and each animal represents some of the values that the tribe holds, such as leadership, hunting, gathering, a sense of well-being within the tribe and its members. Some of the other culture related things the Menominee tribe has is its mobility. Based on a lot of the other tribes, Menominee was one of the very more mobile tribes, also engaged in economic sufficiency within the United States by fur trade and logging, which comes into play in their seal, which is the other picture. The Menominee seal showcases the Thunderbird, which is part of their religion, the arrow underneath the Thunderbird, which just indicates the forward progress of the Menominee tribe, and the upper 2 pictures depict the economic sufficiency of logging within the Menominee tribe. Some of the traditions the Menominee tribe has are their ceremonies and storytelling. These ceremonies are also religious too, but they depict ceremonies of the dream dance and the war dance. So the war dance was to help to protect the men going off to war. The storytelling was used as parables to help bring out key values of the tribe and to help learn about the culture and history of the tribe and to pass it down from generation to generation. Otherwise, the parables were just used to learn about kindness and deceit and different things that you could find in the world. When we talk about religion with the Menominee tribe, they were very spiritual. They believed that there were good and evil spirits. The good spirits lived above the earth and the evil spirits lived below, and we were stuck on the central plane of the earth. When we died, your spirit just stayed on earth indefinitely. Each person had a spirit guardian, and in order to access a spirit guardian, one had to dream and go to the shaman to have the dreams interpreted to see what your future would lie ahead. In the key values of family and tribe, as myself, I am very family driven. I put my family before anything else, and that can be said with the Menominee tribe as well, and with many other tribes. It's very family based. They are a very proud nation of who they are. They are dedicated to their people, the betterment of their people, health, longevity. They pride themselves in leadership and their values and goals they have in mind. Next, we are going to talk about experiences with the United States. There have been not so very good experiences. This can come into play with some of the treaties that were placed in lieu to either abolish, assimilate, or some of them were beneficial to the Menominee tribe, one of which is the Wolf River Treaty of 1854. This was during the time when there was progression westward with the railroad in the 1800s, and a lot of tribes were being snuffed out and pushed off. This treaty allowed the Menominee Nation to stay in Wisconsin and to have enough acreage where they could continue their logging and continue being just their mobile tribe. The Termination Act of 1954, though, was another push to assimilate and to just abolish all land that was for tribes of any kind, especially Menominee Nation, which can be seen in the picture I have here, where they were in 1825 and what they have today. This is kind of what happened with the Termination Act. So this land ended up getting eaten away and given back to the United States. And so all that is left for the Menominee tribe is roughly 235,000 acres, which is the county that they're in now, which became a county in 1959 when Governor Nelson decided to make the Menominee Nation its 72nd county, which ensured that the tribe had land and that it wouldn't be taken away anymore. Because of all of this abolishment and assimilation, there was a lot of economic hardship with the Menominee people. So there is now a lot of government funding going into the tribe and its ability to create housing and employment, because there are about 8,700 Menominee members left, but less than half of them live on the reservation because of lack of housing, and there's just not enough supply for the demand of people that need to live on the reservation. When we talk about some do's and taboos, there's always going to be stereotypes with any person, especially with Native Americans, sadly. So some of the do's: use present tense. Some history makes it sound like the Native Americans and Menominee and any other tribes and reservations just don't exist anymore, and that's not true. They may not be as apparent as they were before, but they still do exist, and they need that recognition. If you want to help with that recognition, you should buy Native. This really helps to, with any family, to just be supportive and to help put money into their economy to get them to grow, because a lot of people use beadwork, clothwork, artwork as a form of staple to get money and to keep part of their heritage and culture going, even if they're not living on the reservation. If you have any questions, it's always great to just learn from the source. There are a lot of different learning centers and different sessions you can take to learn from the reservation and learn about the reservation. There's even different classes you can take to learn their language, which is dying out. It's also really key that when you're taking these lessons to learn the proper language. I have traditional wear in quotations because that is actually the proper term you are supposed to use for the wear and the dress that they use during their ceremonies and their dances and powwows. And so to use the term costume is more or less derogatory, so it's important that you understand and acknowledge the appropriate terminology. Some of the taboos that there are for Menominee Nation are incest, because there's not a lot of members left of the tribe and of other tribes, so it's like very popular for people to stereotype and assume there's incest going on. But the tribe actually has set up where you cannot marry within the same clan, so that helps to distance, and so you're not marrying distant relatives or anything like that. With alcoholism and drug abuse, it's the same across the board for anybody, just like Wisconsin or any other state or any other country that's dealing with drug abuse or alcoholism is apparent. It's here. It's not something that should be brushed under the rug, but it shouldn't be something that stands out as important or that's the only thing you know about the Menominee tribe. Yeah, okay, there is some issues with alcoholism, but that can be anywhere. There's alcohol issues and drug abuse in Wisconsin or in any county. It doesn't have to be just Menominee County. When you visit the reservation or when you're talking to people from the Menominee tribe, it's best to make sure, again, you're using the right language and you're just being respectful. They're very spiritually background in their religion, so it's important to respect the deceased, respect spirits or any burial grounds that there are, any housing for their goods and items that they place as gifts for the spirits to be left alone and to be respected. It's also really important to understand that some rules have changed and have been adapted, not every rule, but some rules and traditions have been changed in order to keep with the times and to not seem outdated and be morally correct with what's going on in today's world. So just note that there are some do's and taboos, but that if you just do more of the do's and less of the taboos, you'll be good when you're talking to anybody. It doesn't even matter if it's Menominee Nation tribe members or other tribe members or just anybody in general. It's always good to just be very respectful when talking with anybody. And that leads me into my last slide here, talking about communication connections. During my research, I found a lot of connections with talking about the Menominee Nation and how they're very culturally rich in their communication. This is true with the perception of how you see the Menominee tribe and their people. This happens to be where stereotypes and schematas come into play. It's important to just try to push those aside and have an understanding and open mind when you talk to other people, especially Menominee tribe, because there are some differences with religion and culture and how their history came to be. We talk about culture and self-concept. The way they interact with themselves and with others in their tribe really helps to promote who they are as a person. And since they are very culturally based and historically based, that's where they get their self-concept from. So it's a good idea to be very respectful and open, especially because there's conflict with religion and beliefs. It's always good to just be open-minded, respectful, and understand that even though if you have differing opinions, it doesn't mean one person's right and the other person is wrong. It just means you have a different opinion. With verbal and nonverbal communication, there's a little bit of both when talking about the Menominee Nation and tribe, especially when they do in their traditions and cultures. They talk in their native language, the Algonquin language, but they also talk in English. Nonverbal communication, we see their different ceremonies and storytellings and origin stories of different things. So they do use both verbal and nonverbal communication. It depends on the context and where they are. But as a wrap up, I do not have an audience because nobody is home and my cat's asleep. So if you have any questions, you can just leave them in the reply down below and I will get back to you. As a wrap up, I'd just like to say everybody communicates differently, and I have learned a lot about the Menominee tribe, and I hope you have too by watching this video. But just be understanding that many other people and myself, you, anybody, we all come from different backgrounds, different cultural differences, ethnicities, sexual orientations. So it's very important to understand that we have those differences, which makes up different self-concepts of who we are as a person and how we carry ourselves. And so when we go into communication and talking with other people, we already have different point of views. But it's good to see those differences, not to point them out, but just to see them, understand them. And that's how we can better learn to communicate with everybody. These are the sources I used, and that is my presentation. Hope you enjoyed.